Hemp Boca. Products of purest natural ingredients and providing a safe alternative method for relief from many symptoms, creating a healthier lifestyle without the use of opioids. Use Hemp Boca products for improved mental health and overall well-being. It's safe, legal, and non-psychoactive. Our pure and high-quality CBD is from clean industrial hemp, then extracted slowly over days to produce the strongest and most effective products on the market, made in the U.S. with no synthetic ingredients. Committed to bringing our customers the highest grade CBD oil on the market. Our industrial hemp, it's organic with no solvents and pesticides, gluten-free, vegan, full spectrum, and third-party double lab tested. Our top priority is your health and wellness, and we are confident you will love our products and the amazing relief so you can enjoy the things you love to do. Try our products and start living a healthier lifestyle. Hemp Boca. Good health and good sense are two of life's greatest blessings.
One of the key principles we like to teach our members at Phil's Stock World is be the house, not the gambler. Stand around a casino, and every day you'll see thousands of people walk through the doors and play various games of skill and chance, and yet none of them are likely to ever be as rich as the person who owns the casino. That, over the long run, the odds are always in his favor. This is not gambling, it's a mathematical fact. How would you like us to teach you how to use this simple mathematical concept to turn investing from gambling into earning by teaching you to be the house? This is the key to learning how to be a true investor in the stock market and not just a hapless trader of stocks. Or, to sum it all up, we'll teach you to be the house and not the gambler.
Welcome to the Hemp Boca Show. We are live over in Delray Beach, Florida, with Gene and Chris, and one of our good friends, Phil from Phil's Stock World. Comes in every now. Well, he comes in every now. You got to show up more. That's why. It's like, no. It's nice. It's great to have him. And we have Ms. Bev Perez and also Mr. David Lamb. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it very much, and we want to, as always, just update you and first do a shout out to Deanna Wan, who was on our show last week, right?
Yes.
That was an incredible story.
Yes, I know. And Ron and Freddie reached out. They wanted to, have her come on their show because of the incredible story. I mean, we meet so many incredible people with, incredible stories.
It's great. It's great. If you haven't seen that show, you can actually go to our YouTube channel. It's Hemp Boca 411 has our videos on there and stuff. But it's a fascinating story of, she's a retired vet. She was in the Air Force, and
a colonel. She's a retired
colonel.
Mm-hmm.
She had
to meet. She's amazing.
Yeah, she battled with cancer and
ovarian cancer, and she had 4 weeks to live.
Oh my goodness!
And it's just incredible. So I wanted her to. Yeah.
So if anything, was she going to be on next week on a producer show? Do you know, or?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, just if you're following the producer show, it's the Brooklyn Cafe. It's every day from 12 to 2. I know Deanna Wan's going to be a guest. I believe if it's not this week, next week. But just you want to follow along. You got to listen to the story. It was great to have her here last. And so, David.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, good to see you again.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank
Good
you
to see
so much for
Thank
being
you. Sorry
here
for the
again.
mixed up.
No worries.
I apologize.
Happens, right? Show business. I was telling that.
Yeah, it's fine.
When it's live,
I know. But you know what? Even behind the scenes, when things happen, we're going to share it with you anyway, because things do happen.
Yes.
But hey, you're here, and we appreciate you being here, and we want to, to hear more about the program that we're going to be a part of, the event, I should say, that we're going to be part of.
Okay.
That's dear to me because my father's a Vietnam vet and has PTSD.
Yes.
So I'm anxious to hear again and any updates. And Bev, or whatever you would like to share with us, and and what you do and what your beliefs are. We're going to probably talk about CBD and what we're doing as far as Hemp Boca and how it's been helping customers and the feedback we're getting and what our future goals are we're working on. And
So
Mr.
let's
Phil.
get back to Mr. Phil Davis.
And Mr. Phil Davis.
How are you?
Good.
From Phil Stockworld.
Yeah. So what's going on in the
In the stock
in
world.
the
Stock market. Well,
market.
after falling almost 1,000 points yesterday, the Dow is recovering somewhat today. But boy, it remains to be seen. I think we're only pausing in the middle of a pretty good downturn, like a 10% downturn in the market. But that's nothing wrong with that. It was caused by Trump last week adding more tariffs to China, and in theory, over the weekend, China retaliated, but they didn't really retaliate. It was just being framed as a retaliation because China lowered the exchange rate on their currency, which offsets Trump's tariffs. So in other words, if they lower the value of their currency versus the dollar, then the tariffs are on a lower price from a base. So they have a blunted effect. Whoops.
I've seen alerts almost on a daily basis last few weeks that the marijuana stocks have just plummeted or they're just down.
Yeah.
And why do you think like all of a sudden there's a significant drop in the marijuana stocks across the board in the last few weeks? I don't understand why or what happened, but maybe is it because of the FDA is really starting to get in and crack down on companies or regulations, and people are fearing for their.
It's simpler than that. 'Cause it's really basically supply and demand issue. It's easy to grow marijuana. So you plant it, you grow it. It's a weed. It's just fairly easy to grow. So all these companies got all this money, and they started planting millions of acres of marijuana all over the place, and all these different states open up with their regulations and allow planting. So a lot of farmers say, okay, we're going to plant marijuana now, great. But now, even if you were selling wheat and now you're selling marijuana, even if it doesn't even if it's at a low price, you're still making more money than you made selling wheat. So it's a positive for the farmers. But the problem is, though, there becomes a glut of marijuana, and all these people who had business plans that said they were going to make this much money as a profit on each pound they sell and so on and so forth are now making that much money because the margins are thinned out, and that's what's causing the problem. So all these crazy profit projections and earnings projections that these companies had on which they got valued it turned out to be bullshit, which is
Right.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah,
No, it's all good. It's not regulated. It's all good. We're good. We're on social media.
Or I'm on the radio. Anyway.
No, you may get a spike in memberships after that comment.
Right.
That's
Well, that's what my webinars sound like. I don't sit there and regulate myself on a webinar. I'm just realizing I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say that here. Anyway, so BS. But the business. Look, your business plan here's your business plan when you start. There's no marijuana legal anywhere, and people are illegally buying it for $300 an ounce, $300 an ounce, right? Therefore, your business plan is saying marijuana sells for $300 an ounce, and therefore I'm going to sell 10 million pounds of marijuana for $4 billion. And I'm going to be so rich it's unbelievable because all I got to do is throw seeds on the ground and plant it and pick them up and then sell it to hippies.
Right.
That's your business plan, basically. It doesn't work out because what happens is everybody else has the same business plan. But the problem is investors are stupid and they will buy into these business plans. And so they bought into, in Canada, these 5 companies in Canada that are really big growers of marijuana are now growing more marijuana than all of North America could consume. But now North America is growing marijuana too. And the states have these weird laws where you can't ship from state to state. So in Canada, they can ship across the whole country. They can't ship to America. In America, you can't even ship from one state to another. Even if the 2 contiguous states are legal, you can't cross the state line, which makes no sense whatsoever. So there's a glut of marijuana. Prices have been driven down, and it's affecting a lot of things. Also, there's a bottleneck in manufacturing. So the stuff people want, which is edibles and vapes and things like that, people don't really want to smoke joints anymore. They want vaping, edibles, things like that. Like CBD, same thing. So, so that that there's a not enough investment was made in the manufacturing side, too much investment was made in the growing side, and then the distributorships are also these cities are very slow to grant distributor licenses, and so you don't have a lot of outlets for sale. You know why you're not getting all the people who could potentially use your product to get it.
Right.
So the expectations went from here to here,
remember
and the
Curaleaf?
stocks dumped.
Curaleaf, what happened with them? And,
Right.
Did you hear about Curaleaf? They
one of the big
they
marijuana companies.
got hit with it would be a cease and desist, but they were making claims on their medical claims on CBD products, so they got hit pretty hard with from the FDA as far as it's been all the news. But what their stock just plummeted down. I mean, it was significant, but CVS just pulled them from all their stores, and so that's it for them. You know, as far as getting back into the store, but then again, how many times we hear this? These multi-million-dollar companies. You know, it's like
multi-billion.
Billion, some. You know, a lot of people like to have this perception that if you're trading on the stock exchange or you're making tens of $millions a month or what have you, you know, it's a really good company, legitimate, ethical and company. But you'd be surprised, more of those type of companies are just not following the rules, and it's all about making a profit.
Well, it was too hot. I mean, you think they should be the best of the best, but there was no best of the best. There were the early movers, jumped on the exchanges, went public, but they're still being run by the same cowboys who were running it illegally like 6 months earlier before the law changed.
Right.
You know, so a lot of these guys are not business people. They haven't gone through the experiences of running a proper company. They don't say, like, we have meetings all the time. Are you allowed to say that? Is that something we could put before we ship this? Did somebody proof the label and make sure we're not saying anything we shouldn't say? Little things like that. It's amazing that people you think someone running $1 billion company should not let something like that slip by, but that just because you run $1 billion company doesn't mean that you should run $1 billion company. That's what the thing is.
I can't remember that other company out of Canada. This was months ago. They I wish I remember the name, but they were the first ones who got caught cease and desist all across their company because they were substituting. You know, they were isolate. Their product was an isolate, so that means they were taking all the other terpenes and CBDs out, and and leaving just CBD in there. But they were filling it with deadly chemicals, and that's what they were doing. They were selling these products throughout Canada, putting these it's out there. You can Google it, it's out there. I just forget the name of the company. They I think were the first to get a cease and desist letter, and they were not even in business for 12 months. You know, and went on the Canadian Stock Exchange. I believe it's CSE, right? Canadian Stock Exchange. Again, so, and that's okay. I mean, we're focused on what we do, right? Hemp Boca, we're
very transparent.
Very ethical. We really make sure that we had to go through a whole change in our labels. Right. We have all new labels coming out because we found out
new regulations and laws.
Well, we just got approved by the FDA. We're the first people to get actually approved products.
We have some.
Yes, a few products that have been approved.
We have some products that are coming out in about 3 to 4 weeks. That we haven't announced what the products are yet though, but even though we know that these new changes are going to go into effect really until the end of the year, we're implementing them today. Correct. So all of the warning the warning disclaimers and things like that have all been reworded. We've always had the QR code in our products, but
that's huge because a lot of companies, when you're looking for a good CBD company, look for the QR codes because that will tell you.
I have a question. I mean, I don't know if it's related, but sports supplements. Not regulated by the FDA. Why is it that this particular company that got the cease and desist, were they fined by the FDA and also were told to shut down?
They weren't shut down. They were told to remove their product from the shelf, and they can't produce it anymore until they get approved now.
Okay. typically the FDA as a federal agency doesn't get involved.
They're looking a little more closely at the CBD industry than they are at some of the other things.
Right.
Because there's just some they want to make sure it's really sending a message. You take a big public company that is in the papers and you fine them a big amount of money, and to that makes everybody else say, oh, I guess we better take this seriously.
Yeah, what's your thought on that as far as?
Well, my thought is I think it's time to take a break. It's a 15-minute break right now.
That's Gene's way of getting out of that conversation. That's so funny.
We have one professional broadcaster.
That's okay.
Oh, Freddie! Hello.
So, all right, this is the Hemp Boca show, right? Go ahead. You want to go?
When we come
to
back
commercial.
from the commercial, if you want to visit our website, please go on hempboca.com and just look at our products and look at our QR codes that scans directly to our lab reports. So that's very important to look for in a product. So when we come back, we'll
I want to touch more on what Dave just asked, and we'll get to learn more about your summit and Beth as well.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Experian Travel, a subsidiary of Cruise Planners Travel Advisor, is merely a selling agency and makes no warranty expressed or implied. Each Cruise Planners is individually owned and operated. Experian Travels and Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative, has a tremendous reputation for quality, service, and a very competitive pricing for all of your travel needs. Our travel advisors will help you discover exciting adventures around the world, from cruises to land tours and completely packaged vacations. We specialize in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation just for you.
One of the key principles we like to teach our members at Phil's Stock World is be the house, not the gambler. Stand around a casino, and every day you'll see thousands of people walk through the doors and play various games of skill and chance, and yet none of them are likely to ever be as rich as the person who owns the casino. That, over the long run, the odds are always in his favor. This is not gambling, it's a mathematical fact. How would you like us to teach you how to use this simple mathematical concept to turn investing from gambling into earning by teaching you to be the house? This is the key to learning how to be a true investor in the stock market and not just a hapless trader of stocks. Or, to sum it all up, we'll teach you to be the house and not the gambler.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, welcome back to the Hemp Boca show. I wanted to... It's a great product here. I wanted to, I know, I just thought I was going to ask you a question.
Sidetracked.
I know, because I was going to ask you a question about the massage oil, but we'll get to it later.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can ask me a question after the show.
Yeah, after the show?
No, this is a great product.
But Dave, your question. I play devil's advocate, so I'm a little on the harsher side because I have a different message. When I don't believe that these people don't know that you shouldn't make claims and things like that. I think it was purposely or intentionally done. Okay. And it's really just I think for me the only thing that comes to my mind is that it's profitable when you're making those type of claims. I also believe that when the FDA, yes, they did the right thing because you really shouldn't make claims, but I also think that we're trying to dominate big pharma, and I believe that there's a lot of people out there that have made a lot of money from big pharma, and they're all up in arms as to trying to control the CBD because they do know that the CBD, the products that we have are very healthy for you. Right. You can't get addicted to it, right? You can't get impaired by these products, but you can with the opioids. Different types of and they make the product. I believe, it's my opinion, that they make those products to get you to go back and get more. So it's not, it's kind of an addiction, right? An addiction that you got to have it, you got to get the prescriptions, you got to have it. But yet people are dying, people are trying are overdosing, but you don't have those stats on CBD products. Good quality, real, healthy products, CBD products. And I just think there's a lot of pushback because they fear that it's heading to a point where billions of dollars are gonna. It's going to be, that as far as big pharma, what they make on an annual basis is going to drop significantly, and CBD industry is going to spike. You know, because the consumer is going to do it. It's going to shift. They're going to start realizing more and more people every day, or even medical marijuana. Why do I have to, go get medical marijuana where I'm getting a high, where I can get a really good quality CBD and still have the benefits of the relief I want, but without the high.
Right.
You're going to have
a lot of people like the high.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of which, the Justice Department, they're proposing a settlement on the opioid companies, the people who manufacture the opioids and advertise them. They basically pushed them onto the streets and caused the addictive crisis basically. And they're talking about the Justice Department is talking $45 billion. The pharma companies are offering, I think, $10 billion at the moment, so it's probably going to be somewhere in between that in the end. Probably a $20 billion settlement. But, I don't know, on the whole, it might be kind of a wrist slap. It depends on what the rule is after, though. It's like, are they going to stop them from, over-prescribing? It seems like they're going to go that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with $20 billion. I guess they intend to probably use it to help people who are addicted.
But they have the Walgreens, Corporation. I don't know if it's CVS, but I know it's Walgreens. They're part of that. But they've got lawsuits against them for over prescribing.
Well, they don't prescribe them.
There's not Walgreens. I'm not saying Walgreens. I'm saying that when somebody comes in and constantly gets prescriptions from there, they just keep pushing. They just keep fulfilling the prescriptions. Where they should be regulating.
You can blame Walgreens.
You mean the pharmacist?
If the doctor has a thing that says
pharmacist.
you can renew it, then you can renew it. That's the rule. You have to go back to the doctor. But of course, someone's going to make a lawsuit. They'll sue everybody on the chain, not necessarily just the doctor who prescribed it, but Walgreens is a deeper pocket, so you want to go after them and say you were somehow responsible. But realistically. That's their job. That's what they're there for.
It's amazing how many lawsuits.
And believe me, God, you try going to Walgreens, and if you don't have a renewal on your thing, they won't give you anything. Yeah. They're pretty strict about that stuff. So, you could say, oh, it's ridiculous how much. You're giving out too much pain medication to this person. Mm-hmm. You should have some care, but it's really not their position, particularly Walgreens, to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's interesting.
It is complicated. Like anything, though, it's complicated, and there's a lot of people to point your finger at. But what are you doing about it going forward? Yeah, is the question. What are we doing at your conference then?
Mm-hmm. The summit that's happening in September.
That's a great way to lead into this.
Yes.
But we're not going to tackle Big Pharma in one fight, in my opinion. That's a tremendous task. That's something that, obviously prior to the opioid epidemic, we had the pill mills, the pain clinics. Proliferated and got and kind of filtered down now to the opioid epidemic that is swept across the country. So it is a sad reality that we are the most, I guess, technologically advanced society, but we're also the most heavily medicated society. So we need to look at it internally from our perspective, from financial to spiritual, emotional, physical. I believe that these components are all very, very essential to the well-being of not only of our own individual bodies and spirits, but the country as a whole. I mean, look at it right now. Recently, last weekend, what did we have? 2 more mass shootings. This is just staggering. We have a tremendous problem in our country. It starts with the moral, fiber of our country being, in my opinion, decimated. Okay, so this is not a political stance, but it kind of highlights what we're dealing with. It's a beast. I don't think one show, one event is going to address this singularly. We need to collectively, as a people, as an advanced society, do something, and it has to be done quickly.
Right.
So true.
Yeah, thank you. And I see you brought Ms. Bev Perez here.
Yes.
Can you introduce
Absolutely.
yourself?
Beth is one of the, one of the crusaders in our fight. Law enforcement officer for over 10 years. She has since retired. She has a very courageous story that when I heard it broke my heart, but it's exactly the type of message we want to send out there. To the officers, the men and women in uniform, the heroes out there that are protecting our borders, our country, our streets. Okay, you guys are unsung. We care about you, and remember, you're not alone. I'm going to have Beth tell her own story, if you don't mind. It's a very compelling and powerful story.
Well, first, thank you for serving and protecting.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that, and thank you for that introduction.
You go. Oh, for more
introduction.
For the real story, you're going to have to come to the summit. All right. Yes. So it's going to be September 12th at the Charles F. Dodge Center. And it's going to be a packed house. It's going to be chock full of really, really important and phenomenal speakers like Beth.
Yeah. And we're proud to be a
part of
that. And thank you,
Jen.
Jen.
Well, for the radio people, you're saying the summit. What exactly are we summiting?
Okay, let's
tell people why they're coming.
This is the second annual Broward Mental Health Summit. All right, we kicked this off last year in light of the Stoneman Douglas tragedy in Parkland that really kind of spearheaded the whole movement. Just a bunch of concerned community leaders, health organizations, professionals getting together, rolling up our sleeves, checking our egos at the door, promoting an event for the entire community. This is not an event that's specific to the industry of mental health. It's open to the masses, and we want to encourage everyone from all walks of life to attend this very, very important event. The key is to have engaging dialogue continuously, and longevity is the name of the game when you're dealing with mental health and depression and PTSD and so forth. So we need to be very proactive, but at the same time, we need galvanizing events like the Health Summit and other movements that we're starting with first responders and veterans. Yeah. So just a little plug.
That's fantastic.
How would the viewers? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you can tell from all the shooting.
Yeah. How can they go to the website? Where can they go to the website to purchase tickets?
Excellent question. It's www.browardmentalhealthsummit.org or .com. And we'd love to have you there. September 12th, it's right around the corner. Tickets are still available till the end of, this month. So please get your tickets. It's going to be, like I said, a phenomenal event. We have some incredible speakers and attendees, sponsors. We have Mama Ali, our very own Mama Ali,
good friend of
Dr.
ours.
Ali,
Yes.
Enlightening Soul as one of our guest speakers. We've got Mr. Biden, Frank Biden as another guest speaker of ours. So again, there's just going to be a tremendous
so it's going to be all day
rallying cry for our community that is so sorely needed, I think, for our country as well at this time.
That's great.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Beth.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm listening. I'm enjoying listening. So, yes, I'm Beth Perez, retired law enforcement. So, essentially, what happened after 10 years of serving on the police department, I fell in love with an officer, which I was not planning on doing, but I did. A long story short, he died in my arms. He was killed in a shooting. So while attempting to save his life and shielding his body under fire, I put his body in my cruiser and I drove to the hospital, and that's when the chief of police came to me and said he's gone. So from then on, literally, the moment that he passed, it's like you can feel it when you love someone. And at that moment, I knew everything was going to change for my life, and it did. Maybe a couple months after, I had a suicide attempt. I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't doing anything. And I would shiver, and I would tell my mom, like, I'm so cold. And she's like, it's not cold, you're letting yourself die. You're shaking from hunger and all this other stuff. And then I had a suicide attempt. With all that happened, I didn't realize at the time all the contributing factors that were contributing to all these feelings and everything that I was going through. A lot of it was the lack of support from my department. They determined that I was unfit for duty. So they said, you can no longer be a police officer, and we're going to put this label on you. You have PTSD, you're disabled, you can't do law enforcement work, but you don't meet our police pension plans, so we're not going to give you any money either. So it's almost like I got terminated for doing what I did to try to save his life and losing him. So I lost him, I lost my job, essentially felt like I lost my identity, myself. I felt so useless, so worthless, and all of those were contributing factors. To add to that, the chief decided to have a ceremony where they were awarding the officers that were there for Medal of Valors for everything that they did. I was not mentioned or even brought up at all. And at the time, I didn't realize how that affected and was just adding on to my worthlessness. And it eventually led to that suicide attempt. Now I'm in a different space thankfully, right? 3 years later. And I look back at that and I think about how unfair that was and how unjust that was. And I'm not going to point fingers or say that it was because they didn't like me. I don't know what it is. It's neither here nor there. The issue is that there is no awareness on how to help first responders. And it's such a stigma for us to even ask for help because, for instance, if I was on the police department and I was self-medicating probably, I don't know what I was doing. I was depressed. I was angry while on the department. I didn't realize it. I was just pissed off and I thought that was just my attitude. No, I was going through something. Had I went to my supervisor and been like, hey, Sarge, I'm kind of feeling depressed. He would have been like, oh, okay, we might have to put you on desk duty because that's sounding a little dangerous. That's the risk that we run. So then it's like, then I'm not going to tell you that I'm feeling depressed because I don't want to be on desk duty. I don't want you to take my gun away. I don't want you to suspend me and then send out a mass email saying, Perez is suspended for medical or mental health. Like that's like almost like embarrassing. And it will go throughout an entire email. And they will put you in a special place because they're like, you need help. So with all that, it's like, you'd rather not even say that something's wrong. So we keep that in. On top of that, it's the ego of just being a police officer. I'm good. I got this. I'm fine. And you kind of are. You put it back there, but eventually all of that piles up and you end up taking it out on your spouse. You end up taking it out on your children, on the community, on your squad mates, on yourself. So on top of all of that I was already dealing with, that happened, and then I got no support. So it was just a lot. And the only support that I got was really just, of course, my family. I come from a Hispanic family, so they were like on suicide watch. They would come in and sit with me every day after he was killed to make sure that I wouldn't do something. And then I flew out of the country, took a vacation trip by myself, and that's where I had my attempt. So, because I knew I wasn't coming back. I had a plan. So the dangers and what I'm trying to now do is share and be very vulnerable, be very transparent with my story and what happened to me in order to raise this awareness and to provide some type of support for these departments that may not know how to approach this very kind of uncomfortable topic that our officers are dealing with. I mean, we go to shootings, stabbings, a theft report. Now I got to go play house at home. Correct. Come on, so... Yeah. So what myself and my partner have, my partner Thaddeus, he's not here, but what we have found healing in is in the water. For me, I lived in my country. I lived in El Salvador after my whole suicide attempt. I moved to El Salvador. I learned how to surf and I fell in love with the water. So the water got me really connected somehow to like this whole Zen, like I just want to just meditate and just hear the ocean, or I just swim. So with getting all of those water things under my belt, we have now created an entire curriculum on how to provide support for our first responders through the Center for Mind Body Medicine, which is different methods and tools to use to cope with tragic events, with trauma and triggers. And we have the water incorporated into that. So this is a pilot program that we're trying to add to all of Broward County. I actually have a very important meeting that I'm so happy about. I didn't tell you. We got the approval. We got the approval, myself and Thaddeus, to present in front of all the chiefs of police of Broward.
Congratulations.
Right. Yes, I know we only get 10 minutes, but that's all I need. So we get 10 minutes, and we got to sell them on this.
We're gonna have 20 minutes now because of the show, right, Chiefs?
That's
Chiefs
awesome.
Police, I'll be seeing them in September.
Right. So the Blue Mind, is that
Blue Mindfulness? So that's what we want to provide for our first responders. We want to run group, and I'm also soon to be peer support certified, where I can talk in group. But I'm also part of the Center for Mind Body Medicine. I got certified with the basic trainings of that. Right. So I have a lot of things that I'm educating myself so that, because there's a science to it, and I understand that. You don't want to overshare and trigger. You want to just say what you need to say and be more of a listener. Active listening is important because people just want to be heard. So I want to give this room for my officers, and thank you to David. You called me one day because there was an officer friend that he had that needed support, and I'm so glad that I made that connection. And literally, when I was done talking to this officer, the officer was just like, I was so comfortable talking to you. Thank you for just listening and making everything that I said feel validated. Because she was talking to an actual doctor, and the doctor would invalidate her feelings.
Allow me to share that very quote, a compliment to yourself, and then to Faith also, which we call, she said 5 minutes with these ladies is better than 4 weeks with this therapist at the EAP. Imagine that. Just having your peer support. That is incredible. That's what we're talking about right now.
And what I want to do is I want to offer the whole stencil of it's okay to not be okay. It's okay that you're an officer. That you're still tough. You're still tough for going out there every day and doing the same thing after everything that you've already gone through. Right? Yeah. We're strong. We're stronger than what we think. But let's tap into those feelings, and when you are on the scene of a call and you see something that's triggersome, how do you cope with that? Mm-hmm. Let's cope with it. Let's breathe. Let's think about this. Let's check in.
We launched first of all, that's an incredible story.
Thank you.
And remarkable, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And how would someone get a hold of your...
so what I would like, what I'm totally okay with, is just on my phone, like a text, a call, just call me. If you just need someone to talk to, someone to listen to you, or if you want to reach out to me and do some water activities, we don't need to get in the water if you're not ready. So the Blue Mindfulness has a website, but that's Thaddeus' website. So I'll give you my number, and through that we can connect.
Great.
And my phone number is 240. Yes, that's the area code. I'm from Maryland. 240-838-9620. Please feel free anytime. I do not care the date or time. For my fellow brethren, if they need to talk to someone, I am more than willing to just listen and just to be support.
Our efforts are, slowly but surely, but we want to get into working with first responders, veterans, retired. And that's one of the reasons why we actually launched Balanced Sport, because this is no THC products, and we're really trying to focus on having products, but when there's still stigma out there. Yes. There's a lot of veterans that are taking opioids or they're getting addicted to it, and they try to go seek help, and their number one fear through the centers that they go to is that if I change to a different product or something, will I get addicted to it? Right. And so we have a long way to go. We have a hard job, hard task. We want so much to get, to be involved with law enforcement one day, help veterans with PTSD, because we believe in our products. We know how high quality our products are, and it's helping a lot of people. And I hope that if down the road, as you're growing, and if you see that there's an opportunity where instead of suggesting opioids or other prescriptions, that we could come in and do a presentation, because we're very passionate. We want so much to make a difference and I truly believe that when that shift happens, people are gonna less suicide attempts, less suicides. There's 26 a day, right?
22 veterans a day.
A day kill themselves, and wow. Besides Hemp, Boca, all of us can change that. All of us can really change that and say, hey, you have support here. You have a different way of supporting. We have a support saying, hey, we have an alternative to you taking opioids. We believe in that. Where there's no addictions, you don't have to wake up feeling like suicidal, or have this rush where you got to go and get a prescription because I need it. You don't have those things, and it's really helping with people with anxiety, PTSD, sleep. It's unbelievable what
6,000 veterans a year committing suicide.
You just did that math, didn't you, in your head?
It's not that hard. It's really 7 something. But wow, that's just
that's just the ones that have been reported. What about the homeless veterans?
I was just going to say that, the ones that have been reported. Yeah.
And then law enforcement, tragically.
That's insane. I mean, your story is insane. Yeah. And where is the union in this kind of thing?
I spoke to him. I actually didn't trust them, so I didn't reach out to my union, and I finally did, right? And I reached out to him, and I was like, I want to talk about the pension plan, my disability, retirement, all this stuff. So he calls me back. He's like, hey, Perez, so which check didn't you get, your May or your April? And I was like, excuse me? He's like, which check didn't you get? And this is the president of the FOP. And I'm like, I got denied all of that. And he was like, what? He was like, this entire time, we thought you were taken care of. They had no idea. Yeah. And I've reached out to him, and the last email that he sent was that he reached out to 2 lawyers who said that it would be pointless to fight, and the other lawyer is looking into it. So at this point, I have to take it further and go to county executives and go to governors and go to news channels and go to these channels and spread the word, and that's okay. It's not about the money for me. It's about the support and those officers that are struggling and crying in silence, that are going through what I went through and still are in that dark space.
It might not be about the money for you, but
no,
it's
but
about
for
the
them, the principle
of it, and,
exactly,
and for everybody who gets screwed in that way,
exactly,
it's outrageous.
If I can just make enough noise for them to realize that that's wrong and you need to look out for your people, that's fine. That's paying enough. But make a change. Make a bill, change something. In fact, once I talked to the officer in Orlando, I got Thaddeus on, and so we started researching, me and my partner Thaddeus. He's a retired NYPD. He was there for 9/11, so he's been through a lot as well. That's why we have this partnership. And he was like, Bev, we have to get that officer help in Orlando. And I'm like, I know, but do we have any connects? He was like, we're going to find one. He dug, and found a connect. Beautiful. So we found a connect that's not within the police department because, unfortunately, a lot of those are supposed to be confidential, but I'm just not going to say anything more about that. So the confidentiality aspect gets a little funky, and they just don't want to talk. So,
well, if you ever want to come on the show again and just keep
please.
saying, I mean, we'll exchange information. I'm sitting back here just listening, and I'm just go. You just let it all out. You know.
So there's this woman, right? Her husband was hazmat for Pulse, the nightclub in Orlando. So after the shooting, which was massive, he went in and cleaned up the bodies. That was his job. She said after that day she never got her husband back. He was different since that day. They couldn't go into a sushi place to eat because it was too dim in there and it reminded him of a nightclub, and he's like, their bodies are everywhere, I can't. He would just see them. So she's in tears, and she fought for her husband because they didn't want to give him a pension plan. They retired him on mental disability, but they didn't give him any money. And she fought for him. He never had to testify. He never did. One day, she did it all on his behalf. She went so far that she got a bill signed for those officers that are facing trauma from Pulse to get some type of benefit, whether it's medical or financial, whatever, because of what they endured. And she fought and she got it done, and that motivated me to fight for what they're not doing to my officers back home.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you don't create a situation in which they're penalized for poor behavior, then the poor behavior continues. Absolutely. Then they don't do the right thing. Like when there is a trauma, like sending people in to clean up 50 bodies in a club, they should proactively be saying, we have to watch out for this person's mental health. We don't want them to have to be forced to retire and collect pension, whatever. It's cheaper for us to provide assistance now. Unfortunately, it's always going to be an economic situation somewhat. Look at Jon Stewart, right, the Daily Show guy. So he spent months, he's a high-profile guy. He had to bother the crap out of Congress for months and embarrass these people publicly to get them just to vote to provide some benefits for the veterans. And it's insane because we spend a couple $100 billion a year on Homeland Security with the big 9/11, never forget, whatever. And believe me, obviously, serious thing. Happened 20 years ago in New York, 4,000 people were killed. Yes. Horrible, horrible thing. Meanwhile, 7,000 veterans a year are dying. Thousands of police officers also dying from this sort of thing. Others have their lives wrecked, and we spend nothing for the veterans.
Right.
And we spend nothing for the police. And these people are alive now and can be helped. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense. We're misallocating resources, and people need to be made aware of this sort of thing.
And a lot of yes, and thank you. And a lot of it is also seen because of the fact that we're just bodies, right? You're just a number. When you go into the military, you're just a number. You're just a body. You got a task. Do your mission. When you're a police officer, here's your task. Do a mission. You get a badge number. That's it. Do your job. So when something horrendous happens like this, they kind of don't know what to do. So they try to follow whatever the written policies are. Well, it can't be, there's no one way to help somebody, right? And for me, my situation was different because not only was he a rookie on my squad, so he was my partner, he was my best friend, and he's the love of my life. So they did not know how to attack that. They know how to deal with an officer when another officer dies, whether you knew him or not. Okay, this is the protocol. They know how to deal when it's your own squad mate. Here's a protocol. But that was the love of her life.
Right.
They're there. You can't work with us anymore. And it's like... Hello, I'm a person though. Like, yes, I'm just a body to you, but I'm somebody's daughter. I'm a person, and I had a suicide attempt, and that would have been 2 families that would have lost.
Well, I want to continue this because I have a theory.
Yes.
And but we're going to take a quick break. It's the Hemp Boca Show live in Delray. You can go to hempboca.com, learn about our products, purchase our products. Incredible story, Bev, and we'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, man. We just got the email. I was.
One of the key principles we like to teach our members at Phil's Stock World is be the house, not the gambler. Stand around a casino, and every day you'll see thousands of people walk through the doors and play various games of skill and chance, and yet none of them are likely to ever be as rich as the person who owns the casino. That, over the long run, the odds are always in his favor. This is not gambling, it's a mathematical fact. How would you like us to teach you how to use this simple mathematical concept to turn investing from gambling into earning by teaching you to be the house? This is the key to learning how to be a true investor in the stock market and not just a hapless trader of stocks. Or, to sum it all up, we'll teach you to be the house and not the gambler.
Hemp Boca. Products of purest natural ingredients and providing a safe alternative method for relief from many symptoms, creating a healthier lifestyle without the use of opioids. Use Hemp Boca products for improved mental health and overall well-being. It's safe, legal, and non-psychoactive. Our pure and high-quality CBD is from clean industrial hemp, then extracted slowly over days to produce the strongest and most effective products on the market, made in the U.S. with no synthetic ingredients. Committed to bringing our customers the highest grade CBD oil on the market. Our industrial hemp, it's organic with no solvents and pesticides, gluten-free, vegan, full spectrum, and third-party double lab tested. Our top priority is your health and wellness, and we are confident you will love our products and the amazing relief so you can enjoy the things you love to do. Try our products and start living a healthier lifestyle. Hemp Boca. Good health and good sense are two of life's greatest blessings.
Welcome back to the Hemp Boca Show, live in at Delray Beach. Thank you for joining us. Here with Bev. Bev, you are, as far as your program, or what you've started, was called Blue Mind.
Blue Mindfulness.
Blue Mindfulness.
Right, that my partner Thaddeus, that's his, and I'm just helping,
great.
assisting him
And no,
with it.
it's a fantastic story and fantastic reasons to why you create that, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
But I hear you, and it's what comes to mind, and you would be a statistic, right?
Right.
If they were to acknowledge what you went through and provided you the benefits, now you just became a statistic.
Right.
And there are a lot of politicians.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that want to get reelected. So
Yes.
when they go for those reelection, and before they go to reelection, what happens? They vet them. They want to see what they've accomplished. And so the lower the numbers are in your category, so to speak, if you will, then it makes them look like, hey, they're a great chief, or they're a great mayor, and they're doing great for the police force. So I hope you make a difference, because you don't want a chief or a mayor or anyone that's in that position that wants to hide your stories, hide what you went through, because and those are the people that you do not want to be part of the law enforcement.
No.
You want somebody in charge that recognizes and goes for bat for you. You risk your life every day. A bullet at any time, or a car, anything, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the most threat situation of police officers are traffic stops. Is one of the highest, where you don't know what's going to happen when you walk up to that car. You have no idea, and there's things that you guys do. Every time you walk up to a car, you slide your fingers on a vehicle to show the fingerprints. But you got to think about that as to why a police officer would do that. And that's not something that we wake up and have to do ourselves when we're going to our driveway and going to our cars or what have you. You do that for a reason, and the reason is it's an unfortunate reason, because something can happen to you. You can be killed in a moment at that traffic stop. So they're able to identify who that police officer is, and that's why you do those things. Right. It's a mental thing. No, people don't appreciate that. So, but I really hope your voice is heard. Come on the show anytime.
Thank you.
And keep expressing yourself. We'd
Thank
love
you.
to.
So I'm sure that our audience
Thank you.
and our viewers are probably curious of how can they help? How can they help you, Bev?
So for me, because my target audience is law enforcement, but it is also first responders overall. So we're also talking about the fire rescue paramedics as well. We want to provide them a platform to have this open conversations and provide them what we're offering as well. So what I would like, if there's any retired or currently employed law enforcement officers or paramedics, first responders, fire rescue that want to be a part of the team and want to help us help each other, please call me. Because one thing that I also noticed when you're retired, it's like you were part of this whole family and now it's like you're not, and it's almost like you feel isolated. You feel like you're not a part of that thing, and you lose that mission, and that's a really uncomfortable feeling too. So for my retired officers, if you want something to be a part of again while supporting our fellow brethren, please 240-838-9620, and I would love for you all to come out, because if it's going to take off and it's going to hit pretty hard, we're going to need support. And what we want is peer support. So we can try to find a way to get, if we get enough officers, retired or not, to get peer support certified, and then we can help each other out in the department, out of the department, when you're just at home and need someone to talk to.
Right. Please keep us up to date on what's going on too.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
And support you. Yes.
Thank you.
And Dave, what about you? How can all of us help you with your with your fight? And
you guys have been tremendous, the whole entire community. What can we say? We need to do more, okay? A singular act can have just irreparable and incomparable consequences in my world, okay? It could create such a ripple effect. We're not gonna fight those institutions that we talked about, head on. We need to galvanize through communities, one faction at a time, okay? And it's just like, how do I say this? I'm a military man. We have to be a bunch of SEAL Team 6 and pull souls from the abyss. This phone right here, that's my lifeline to any veteran, first responder that needs help. It goes off at 4 a.m. and I'll pick it up. Yeah. Okay? Sure. I will not kid you. It is really that simple. Anyone needs help, call us. That's what we're here for. Forget about barriers. Forget about bureaucracy. I could care less about insurance, payments, or anything else. We're here to save lives, one at a time. It's really that simple.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
We are so blessed, and Jean, you
that
really
passion, guys.
Yeah. I mean, when we first met you a couple weeks ago on our show, I mean, I know that Jean was like, "We got to do this."
Yes.
And of course, I mean, seriously, of course we are. We're really excited to be a part of it, and we want to learn more and more and see what else we can do with you,
sure.
and with you as things progress. I can not be surprised and be very fast.
Thank you. We're hopeful. So once we get that presentation done, I'm hopeful that we'll get a lot of time with some chiefs and talk and hopefully pilot this program. Unfortunate news, I think Thaddeus mentioned there was number 7 suicide in New York. It was in 1 week they had like 4, I think, or something to that effect. And every time he tells me this, I literally feel like throwing up, because I've been there. So I know that feeling, and I'm like, if somebody would have just talked to this person or listened to this person or noticed those signs. They're isolating. They're giving away their prized possessions. They're being angry. They don't want to do family functions, and they would always come out, or no longer doing the cookouts. Like, notice these things. But if we just got to educate ourselves. We don't know what we don't know. So we just want to provide a platform and a stencil and help. I don't want to assume that these police departments don't want to help. They just don't know how.
When you're having a struggle, like if this, you're admitting to your officer and your lieutenant or whoever, and you're saying, listen, I don't feel right. I feel depressed, or I had a life-changing event. There's no one that's an internal that you could go to actually have sessions with or try to understand.
There is. We have our psychologist. Like, we have a doctor that we can see. In our department, we had a long-standing one who was confidential. He was awesome. We loved him. Everybody kind of was. He was like almost like an uncle that you just were comfortable talking to. He left. They put someone new, and nobody trusted her. So it just, I'm sorry. Let's just listen. That's how we are. We know who we know, and if I don't know you, I'm not talking to you. So, and that's okay. We also understand that the confidentiality isn't always as confident as it should be. So that's also a struggle. So that's why we want to do this program, and we are 100% confidential. I have no reason to air anybody's because it's not about that.
Yep.
So.
But you're coming in this organically, and that's the difference.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's
It's
huge.
genuine.
Yeah.
You know, it's passionate. It's not. There are no motives, no agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. No fear of backlash. Come out. Okay. You are courageous. We embrace you, and you're not alone. That's the best message I can send out there. You're not alone. And this goes for everyone, not just veterans, first responders. Anyone that's struggling with any type of mental health, please, you're not alone.
It could be a wife or a husband
And
of,
that's
or
another
a
thing,
sibling
a spouse or
of
sibling.
a first
Children, yeah.
responder.
Sibling.
It's not, you know what I
You
mean?
know, it was the darndest thing. I love my brother, but we're not like, you know, I love you, brother. Like, we don't do stuff like that. It's like, what's up, bro? Like, you know, it's cool. And once I got retired, he pulls me aside. He's like, Bev. And I was like, what's up? He's like, I can finally sleep at night. And I was like, what? He was like, I can finally sleep at night. You're not a police officer anymore. And then he just like walks away. And I'm just like, it was so adorable. But you know, you don't think of stuff like that. My brother, I didn't think he cared. I mean, I know he cares, but I didn't think that he was losing sleep over knowing his little sister's out there on midnights fighting some dude on PCP. Like, I didn't think he cared like that, you know. So it affects the entire family, and we want to provide that support to everyone. But it starts with you know, we're gonna do our first responders and then spread. Of course. You know, and I put it perspectively. I think about it. I was like, you know, all in my 20s, here are my friends. They're doing like Girls Gone Wild stuff, whatever, little fun stuff. And I'm literally running a squad of men going into a barricade situation. That's how I spent my 20s. So you have to also put it in perspective. Like, I was 23. I was young, and I was doing these kinds of things. That's how young our officers are starting off at.
Sure.
These are like, they're not, you know, they're adults, but they're still like 23, 22. I mean, I turned 22 in the academy. Can you imagine?
How many years were you?
I did 10 years.
Service? Wow.
I was 21 and I turned 22 in the academy.
In New York?
No, in
Oh, where?
Maryland.
All in Maryland.
Maryland,
Baltimore
yeah.
area or
No. I love Baltimore. Just saying.
Yeah, that expression really.
Yeah, I love Baltimore.
Yeah, you got good.
Your Orioles aren't doing too well right now. Okay, Yankees. Sorry.
I'm a Nats fan, so. But thank you all for listening, and just put it in perspective. This is how young we're going into these things, for lack of a better term, into these big boy jobs. We still have some big boy growing up to do, right? But we're out there doing these things, and we have these responsibilities because you have to wear that badge and respect and honor it. And then you have to go home and be a 27-year-old, be a 23-year-old with your other friends. My friends would always tell me, like, you were always on. You're so different now. And that was tough for them because we all went to college together, University of Maryland, go Terps. But they would all like be like, hey, Bev, you changed from being like this college girl, you know, dance major into like this way. So it just changes.
I think you're gonna help in many. I think you're gonna help in many ways.
I hope so.
Not just, you know, you're gonna touch a lot of lives, a lot of different types of people. And it, like, you know, and not you don't have to be a first responder.
No.
Or a military vet.
No.
It could be, like, you know, we talk about, you know, a husband or a wife of our children or a friend. I mean, they all need support too.
Yes.
You know, you come home and your father or your mother's not there anymore because they were killed in the line of duty. I mean, where's the support for them?
Right.
You know, so you're going to give great direction on multitude.
Oh, I see this hopefully going internationally. I speak Spanish, so. Bilingual, if anybody wants to
that's
go.
great.
My Chinese is a little rusty, but I can probably swing
There we go. See?
I just speak English. I just speak English. And
Everyone.
I'm not even good at that. So.
No, because I
Beautiful.
started thinking, like, you know, with what happened in Puerto Rico with all the, you know, the disasters, the natural disasters, or now like the political, just whatever's going on with their law enforcement. You know, I figured we can just, and
So-
they're, you know, they're.
I think at the end of the day, we need to remind ourselves that humanity comes first.
Yeah.
Forget
Yeah.
about rank, creed,
exactly.
race, religion, whatever. Anything that divides us, get it out of the way. Just like stigma, it's an obstacle. It's a self-constructed obstacle. Think about it, right?
True.
We were born
So true.
in the same hospital room, babies side by side. There is no race, there is no religion, there's no different creed.
Right.
We die the same way. It's that space, that
Simple.
hyphen between the years, born and death. That, excuse me, I was gonna almost curse, but messes us up. You know, that's what really.
Close
that's
out.
what we need to kind of
Yeah.
define.
Yes. Well, we want to thank you, viewers and listeners, to listening to our show, and that was a powerful
Thank you.
message, Sarah Bev.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you,
you.
Why
Dave.
don't you give a once around of
Thank
how
you.
people can
Thank you.
connect with you before we end the show?
Yes. Please call or text 240-838-9620.
Awesome.
Thank you. And Dave?
You can call me anytime. You know, if it's a legitimate, I will pick it up immediately. 888-893-4339. It's toll free. Any veteran, first responder, anyone struggling. I'm from Parkland. Struggling for mental health, call me and I will find a placement help for you.
And Broward Mental Health Summit,
Yes,
September
that's
12th.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, thank
9
you
to
very
5,
much.
8 to 5.
Go to
We'll
Broward
be there.
Yes.
Mental
Thank
Health
you.
Summit.org and
Yes,
.com.
come listen to Bev.
Yes.
You be the keynote speaker there.
And
Yes.
a wonderful close friend, family, Mr. Phil Davis.
From Phil Stockworld.
Go to Phil Stockworld.
Thank you for being here. And
you
his
for being
beautiful
here.
daughter, Jackie,
Yeah.
and her friend. Thank you for
not
being
for your
here.
mental health, your financial health.
And we do a quick and a last shout out to the Brooklyn Cafe with Dawn and Freddie. We thank you so much for your support. We love both of you very much. And go to hempboca.com. You can read about our products, purchase our products. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.
See you next
Thank you,
week.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Experian Travel, a subsidiary of Cruise Planners Travel Advisor, is merely a selling agency and makes no warranty expressed or implied. Each cruise planners is individually owned and operated. Experian Travels and Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative, has a tremendous reputation for quality, service, and a very competitive pricing for all of your travel needs. Our travel advisors will help you discover exciting adventures around the world, from cruises to land tours and completely packaged vacations. We specialize in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation just for you.